Hello everyone, I'm currently Kevin, and in this video I will show you everything you need to know about Vanessa's best build for this season. Vanessa's early, mid and late game have been nerfed. This was honestly expected, as she basically dominated the last season. The nerfs did hit Vanessa very hard though, nerfing her tempo and the only consistent late game build that was able to compete with the other heroes. She did however get a new expansion, and there are some very strong items in there, with one being a clear winner, Kusarigama, which says, when you slow or crit, adjacent weapons gain damage. This can scale very fast, and slowing is very important in this meta. You really need to disrupt what the other board is trying to do, or you're just gonna get overrun. Kusarigama needs something to buff though, so let's start with the most important payoff items. Shuriken, Hoverboard, Pistol Sword and Proboscis are the ideal candidates to buff. All of these have crazy multicast, or can be triggered repeatedly, getting the most out of the buff. If you find an obsidian enchant however, that can open up a few options. Dive weights becomes a shuriken, incendiary rounds becomes a small hoverboard, and iceberg or tripwire can become scaling caltrops. As you can see, once you get Kusarigama, you have a lot of really good buff options, making it very consistent. Now that we have something to buff, we need to provide slows or crits. Corsina's crest got nerfed, making it harder to get a significant amount of crit, so you should really focus on slows first and then adding crit once you run out of good slows. Shot glasses will be your most powerful item, but any slow will work. Tripwire, Clamora and the new dart launcher are also very solid. Just make sure to put the dart launcher next to another slow item, or it won't actually slow. Even an upgraded stinger or grappling hook can provide you with a significant amount of damage. Bullet time is really easy to get from C4. You can also use any slow enchant on an item that doesn't already slow. For some less easy to get drops, Assault Focus from Boss Harrow, Plasma Grenade from Trash Golem or Annex Trooper, and Flashbang from either Stealth or Bounty Hunter are also incredible. For crits, just use Corsina's Crest, Pet Rock, Integrated HUD, which can also slow, or any crit skills with a special focus on Inexorable from Old Zane or Vermeer. The only real weakness of this build is that the start time is a little high if you want to go with Shuriken or Dive Weight. So you want to top this off with a holster and you're basically done. Now that we know what items we need, let's look at what some of the most high value shops are so you can get this build online consistently. Starting with Kusarigama, you can find it in shops starting at silver. As you can see, you really want to visit Aimbot and Cobweb if you get the chance, especially since they also carry your support items, but Ande and Ayla give you a solid chance too, since you'll visit them very often. Tox Clocks also has all of your slow items and dive weights and holsters, so you should go there as well if you get the chance. Colt has your shot glasses, pistol sword, shuriken and dive weights, so it's a really great vendor for your support items. And any medium shop is pretty low value, but they can still have your hoverboard and tripwire, so it won't be a complete loss. Since Kusarigama is silver, you can't find it on day 1, and since shuriken doesn't have a lot of ammo at bronze, hoverboard starts at silver, pistol sword at gold, and Proboscis is a monster drop, it's really tough to get Kusarigama very early. Even harder to get it really online in the early days. So you can't really rely on Kusarigama to help you there. You need to try to use anything you can to win the early days. Kusarigama can win the mid and the late game very easily, so you're just trying to get out of the early game alive. Slow scaling builds like Mantis Shrimp can be good, since as soon as you get the Kusarigama, you can start using it. Trebuchet is good too, since you have a trap and probably another low cooldown weapon to buff with the Kusarigama. Wetware is also just an incredibly powerful item and can give you the time to scale. I've also used something like a Long John, which is still a powerhouse of an item, to get through the early game and give me the time to get Kusarigama online. Just visit the shops I talked about before and you'll have a very high chance to get Kusarigama in time for your build to come together. What monster should you fight? I'm just talking about the monsters that add something extra to the build, not every monster that is generally good, like Aetheryte for rigged. Any of the mosquitoes are amazing, since Proboscis is a fantastic item for this build. Even without the Kusarigama, Proboscis is a high roll. Hoverbike Hooligan and Bloodreef Raider give you ammo, which is fantastic for shuriken, dive weights and shot glasses. Prince Marianas can give you crit when you slow, and also an eel, which can still be useful on day 4. Preening Duelist gives gunpowder for ammo and pistol swords, which is a great payoff item. Dire Inglet skill is also pretty good, giving your weapons crit when you use them. Do keep in mind though that hoverboard can't crit. Trash Golem and Annex Trooper give Plasma Grenade. Car Conductor has 2 really great skills if you have hoverboard. Expert Pilot giving 30% damage to the hoverboard, and Command Ship, which reduces the cooldown of your non-vehicles. One Ring Shoal gives Thick Hide, which charges an item every time you slow. Terrorform gives Shock Glasses, Flashy Reload and Passive Power, which are all amazing. Boss Harrow with Assault Focus to disrupt your opponent and get great scaling. However, if you do need multiple dive weights procs, it's not that great. I hope this video has been helpful. Tell me in the comments what you thought of it, and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. Thanks for watching.